The Dow Jones suddenly spiked 200 points off opening lows back into the green today for no good reason. I believe we closed up 258 points in the positive today. Someone, please tell me why it's up. It is Wednesday, August 28, 2019. Before I start this video today, please make sure that you share this video with everyone you know, share it on your social media, share it with your churches, share it with your friends, family, share it with everybody. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification so that you are alerted with the newest video. Thank you. As we witness more of this manipulation on the market today, up, I believe it was around 258 points. Someone, please comment down below. Let me know why the market was up today. What was the good news that propelled this market to be up? I don't know what it is. All I continue to see is bad news. And I see more economic signals from the bond market as we witness bond yields plunging, more businesses going down, economy slowing right here in the US and across the globe, yet this market is up. Someone please comment down below, tell me what is pushing this market up other than pure manipulation. You know, we have not seen an economic environment like this in over a decade. And a lot of people believe that there's some kind of miracle that's going to come along and rescue us from this storm that is literally right off into the horizon. It's not going to happen. We are just seeing way too many warning signs. The economic signals are flashing red, and I really believe that every one of you needs to be preparing. You know, a lot of people do not want to hear this, but every economic indicator is flashing red. It's telling us that a US recession is coming. And I'm here today to tell you that you must be preparing. Very dangerous times are coming to America economically, socially, politically, and if you are not preparing right now, you're going to be living in a nightmare. Occasionally I'll read comments down below where people say, what can I do? How can I prepare? Well, number one, educate yourself and be aware of what is coming. I believe educating yourself, education and awakeness are very important assets, knowing what is going on. But another thing we can all do is make sure we have an emergency fund. You know, as we head deeper into this crisis, we are going to see unemployment rising. The cost of goods and services also will be rising. So, you know, what happens if you lose your job for 3 months, 6 months, a year? Do you have a cushion to fall back on? You know, to pay that mortgage, to pay those auto loans, to pay for food, to survive? Do you have an economic cushion? So many Americans lost their homes back in the 2008 crash because they didn't have an emergency fund. They were living right on the edge financially. Have a cushion so that you can pay those necessities in case bad times come, and they are coming. So make sure you are preparing, have that emergency fund. Of course, you know, that should be cash. That should be some assets, that should be security, that should be food and water. But, you know, make sure you have some cash on hand to pay those bills. You know, if you prepare in advance for what's coming, that is going to help you take the fear out of the equation, because when things get really crazy here in America, and they're going to, it is those that don't understand what is happening that are going to give into fear. They're going to give into depression. They're going to give into despair. And these are going to be the people that act out irrationally, erratic, violent. These are the people that are really going to lose their minds when they're losing their homes, when they don't have that economic cushion, when their kids aren't eating, when they lose their car. These people are unprepared for the uncertainty that is coming. And these are the people that will be living in fear. They're going to be living in that nightmare because they did not prepare for what's coming. Listen, most of you out there are prepared and know what's coming, and you're not living in fear. You're prepared. The people who are going to be the paranoid ones are the ones that get swept away in this storm, the ones that didn't prepare, because they're going to be left out in the cold to fend for themselves. Economically, socially, and they're really taking a huge risk here, in my opinion. You know, we have now had 3 months of a 3-month, 10-year yield inversion. If this isn't warning you, if this isn't an economic bellwether, an economic signaling, an indicator of what's coming, you have been drinking the Kool-Aid. You are living in the Matrix, the Twilight Zone. This right now, let me tell you, don't bet against this indicator. It has never been wrong. History isn't lying. It is going to repeat itself here, but this time it's going to be much, much worse. I saw some people in the comments yesterday saying that this isn't going to be '08. It's not going to be as bad. I'm here to tell you it will be much worse than 2008. I read an article today on CNBC titled "Rich Stop Spending." A sudden pullback in spending among the wealthy could cascade down into the rest of the economy. And that's exactly what is happening. Luxury real estate is having its worst year since the financial crisis back in 2008. Luxury retailers are struggling while Walmart and the dollar stores are thriving. As you know, I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago. I took you through the Bellagio, the Wynn, Caesars Palace, the Forum, and the luxury retail market in those areas of Las Vegas were dead, struggling. And so this is going to trickle down. And this is why, my friend Sid told me last week, he was over at, I think, the dollar store, and he said the place was packed. And other parts of the desert where we live are very affluent, and they're dead. And so why is the dollar store packed while the luxury retail sector is dead? Because people don't have the money. Rich people, the wealthy, are a bit more sophisticated than most people, and that's probably why they're wealthy. They're pulling back. You can only, buy and need so many watches, so many Patek Philippe, so many Rolexes. You may only need so many Mercedes or so many Rolls Royces or Ferraris. You may only need so many pairs of shoes. At some point they say, hey, let's sit back and see what's going on. This is not a good time to be spending money. And so I think we're starting to see that. And as it trickles down, the middle class, lower middle class, and poor people, they're just going to be tapped out. The middle class, so many people going into debt to just stay in the middle class by using credit cards to survive. And so this is just another bellwether of what's going on. But, I think we need to think more like the sophisticated type people, more like the wealthy, that, hey, you know what? I already have shoes, I have jewelry, I have a car, I don't need any more. I think if more of us thought like that, like, do you have a car right now? Do you need a new car today? Do you need another pair of shoes? Do you need another watch? Do you need to keep running up your credit card? Do you need to go out to eat this weekend? Do you need to take a trip? Maybe not. Maybe we need to make some sacrifices here and sit back and wait it out and see what's going to happen. We're seeing other indications with regards to the wealthy. This also on CNBC. This month's Pebble Beach car auctions, the most expensive cars in the world sold at the Pebble Beach car auction. It flatlined. 2019 art auctions were down for the first half of this year, the lowest in 5 years. So, these are bellwethers. This is another canary in the coal mine telling you to be very, very cautious. Article on theweek.com. Warren Buffett hasn't stockpiled this much cash since right before the financial crisis. Warning, warning, warning right here. He is reportedly hoarding $122 billion in cash at Berkshire Hathaway, Inc. The cash pile is more than half of the value of Berkshire's $208 billion portfolio. I wonder what Warren Buffett knows. I wonder what his insiders, his friends, his elite are telling him right now. Think about that. Is it really a bad idea that you have an emergency fund, that you're putting some cash aside, you're putting some gold and silver aside, some food, some water? These people, they have private jets that can get them to other countries, that can get them to bunkers. They have private security. They have farms. They have ranches. These people are setting themselves up to survive, while most Americans are out there in la la land like zombies, running up their credit cards thinking that next year this is all going to be better. It's going to fix itself, the storm's going to go away, and nothing's going to happen. Do not be naive. Make sure you are awake, aware, and preparing, because this thing is really getting dangerous. Article on marketwatch.com. Americans are Googling the Dow Jones. Here's why that could spell trouble. So this right here is telling me that there are people waking up. There are people that are having concerns with what's going on. August 11th through the 17th of August, Google searches for Dow Jones was up 28% from its peak in May. This means more investors, more people are showing concern with all the volatility and talk of recession. So there are people waking up. There are people starting to really get concerned here with what's going on. Most people, remember now, most people are not going to exit these markets, and it will be too late. By the time that they do, they will not get out. There's basically too many people heading for one exit, and they're not all going to get out. So be very cautious if you're in these markets, and remember, it's better to be a little early than a little late, because you can be early, but if you're a second too late in these markets, you're going to take a major haircut, and many people are going to get wiped out as they did back in 2008. There are other reasons you must be preparing, not only this economic collapse. Now, I know that this may trigger some people. I know that people don't like to hear this because it scares them. And there's a lot of people out there that don't want to face the facts. They don't want to face the truth, and this scares them. And they're hoping it's going to go away, but it's not. But here's something we all better be preparing for right now, and it's the shortfall on Social Security. Right now, this Ponzi scheme, Social Security, has a $32 billion shortfall. And I think we all have to come to the conclusion that it is not going to be there for most of us. We talk about the pension system in America, $5.2 trillion of government pension debt right now, and it's climbing. So right now, there's a $5.2 billion shortfall with government pension debt. Around 70+% of all the pensions in America are underfunded. And how many of you believe that your pension is going to be there 10 or 15 years from now? Maybe even 5. Think about this. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. But, you know, how about maybe 50% of it will be there? Maybe 25% of it will be there. Maybe none of it will be there. There was so much debt. And what really scares me is what is going to happen when we head into a depression or a major economic collapse in America. What is going to happen to the pension system? What happens to Social Security? It is going to do a lot more damage and cause a lot more debt in this country. So do not be depending on your Social Security. Do not depend on your pensions. Make sure you're working on that emergency fund right now. Make sure you're putting hard tangible assets away, and make sure you're acting as your own central bank, because I truly believe that this government is going to really be seriously damaged with this debt when it comes to Social Security. As we know, it's been robbed, and I could see these pensions being completely all out robbed, especially after this economic collapse. There's just going to be too much debt. So make sure you are preparing and not depending on things that probably will not be there for you. So guys, I'm going to leave it right there. Before I go, I want to say this. I don't believe this is the end of the world. I don't believe this is the end of America. What I do believe is we are going to see a cleansing take place in America, an economic and social cleansing. And I believe in order for America to survive, this must happen. I believe that we need to stop being so dependent on goods and products from other countries. I think we need to stop putting our nose in everybody's business in these countries 10,000 miles away. It's time for America to get back to business, making its own goods and products, worrying about its own security instead of the security of other countries 10,000 miles away. We need to get back to America. We need to really get back and think about making America a great country again, not a country that is dependent, an economy dependent on debt. I truly believe that we are going to see a reset in America. We must go back to a gold standard. The only thing that will save the US dollar, in my opinion, is going back to a gold standard. And unfortunately, during this time, this era, this reset, we're going to see a lot of devastation, and a lot of people who are dependent on the retirement, the 401ks or money markets, on these financial institutions, people dependent on the government. These people are going to lose. These people are going to wake up into a nightmare. The government is not going to be able to help people when this thing implodes. The banks and the financial institutions will be imploding all over the place like hand grenades. They're going to get devastated. And these people who believe that these institutions, that these people who have faith in these markets and have faith in this economy, these people are going to wake up into a major nightmare. Major uncertainty is coming, and this is why we must be preparing. the people out there preparing, I believe, are the ones that will prosper, the ones that are going to be protected. The people who are not preparing for what is coming, who are dependent on all these financial entities, these are the people who are going to be paranoid. These are the people who are going to wake up one day and look at their paper portfolios and find out that they've been bamboozled, they've been fooled, they've been wiped out. And now what do? Their life is going to be an utter nightmare. It's going to be chaotic. These people aren't going to know what to do. And these are going to be truly the paranoid people of America. And I believe that you must be preparing right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, because I don't believe this is going to be stopped. We look at bond yields again today. I'm going to close with this. You know, the 3-month outperforming everything. This inversion continues. And I believe we're at, what were we at? 1.46 on the 10-year, 1.95 on the 30-year. This is unheard of. This indicator is telling you, it's never been wrong. It's telling you, you better be protecting yourself. I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to try and change your mind about anything. I'm just here to tell you that history doesn't lie. I'm here to tell you that the canary in the coal mine is about dead. And you have a big decision to make here. Time is running out. We're getting very, very close to this collapse. It could happen next week. It could happen next year. It could happen overnight. Nobody knows. But one thing we do know is it's coming and it's not going to be stopped. God bless America. Make sure you're praying for this country, and I'll talk to you very soon.